Hi, and welcome to this webinar. I'm Susan Petang, and let's start the screen share. This one is called From Lockdown to Opened Up. Life skills your parents never taught you, also known as how to thrive in a post-pandemic world. So let's get to the next slide. This past year, 2020, it all hit the fan, didn't it? Pandemic, demonstrations, contentious election, working from home or not, trying to take care of the kids while they're in video school, and you're trying to work yourself, and it's been a lot. It's been a lot. All of that stress and uncertainty can make us feel hopeless, overburdened, overworked, and burned out. And I see a show of hands because I know it affected all of us pretty horribly, didn't it? So you want to know how I'm qualified. I'm going to tell you real quick to give you some advice on how to fix all this. I'm Susan Petang. I am a life coach that helps people overcome these issues. I teach you the life skills that you need that your parents didn't teach you. I'm also the host of Dear Aunt Susan, Advice on Being Human, a podcast that's kind of like Dear Abby, if you were old enough to remember Dear Abby, and I answer your questions. So let's talk about this a little bit. The techniques that I'm about to show you, this is called the quiet zone method. They are part of a bigger package that I use not only to help my clients, but I also help me. Okay, I'm a client too. I suffer from anxiety and depression, and these are the skills that helped me overcome those things. This past year would have slapped me down like a rotten pineapple if I didn't have these skills. So I want to share them with you. You're probably going to recognize a lot of this, okay, because they are proven, well-known techniques. And what I've done is I put them together in such a way that one builds upon the next so that you remember and retain and are able to enact and use them better. Okay, so I want to help you start waking up happy in the morning again. Here is a list of what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about values, creating values, and why that's important. We're going to define who you want to be in life and create an avatar. We're going to talk about mindfulness, okay, and how to be mindful. Everybody talks about being mindful, but nobody tells you how. I'm going to tell you how. We're also going to talk about reframing. That's what psychologists call it. It's really just looking at life from a different angle, looking through different lenses. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that too. Don't worry. And then there's the new car factor, which I'm sure you haven't heard of because I created it. But we're going to talk about what it is and what it does and how you can use it to your benefit. And we're also going to have some self-esteem and self-confidence exercises that are super useful. If you don't listen to anything else that I tell you in this webinar, go to that section and watch that. That's really super important. And of course, then another super important unit, what to do when life stinks, okay? Because we need to know. I mean, life isn't happy, joy all the time, is it? So the first thing we're going to talk about is creating values. Have you ever stopped to think about your value system? Okay. Values are traits that we think are important to have as human beings. And here are some examples. Honesty. These are ones that my clients have actually given me. Reliability, kindness and compassion. I think everybody says that. Hard work, commitment, being open-minded, being curious, being flexible. You get the idea, okay? These are just a few examples. So if you're not sure, do a Google search on examples of values and you'll get some more ideas. And it's important to write this stuff down, okay? When we were kids, our teacher had us write the spelling words 5 times each, 10 times each, whatever. And there was a reason for that, okay? The physical act of writing, and I'm not talking about putting it in your Google Calendar or your task list online or in your phone, writing it down, okay? This reinforces information in our brains, okay? Creates new neural pathways. So get that piece of paper out in a marble notebook, and we're going to start writing these things down, okay? So what I want you to do is pause the video and take a few seconds just to jot down a few examples of what you think your value system is. Go ahead, pause. I'll wait. Welcome back. Okay, so you may not have written a lot of things down. You might have only come up with a few, but that's okay. It's a start. That values and what we think our purpose is in life and our spirituality, these are concepts that are constantly in flux in our life, okay? However, by sitting down and trying to define our value system, it makes it easier for us to decide what's right and wrong, what paths to follow in life. This is a life skill, okay? And that might seem silly to you because when we were kids, we were taught what's right and wrong by our parents. But after we become adults, sometimes what's important to us as individuals gets lost in the group that we're in, whether it's a religious group or a societal group, a culture. Okay, so it's important to sit down and think about what is important to you as an individual. Okay, so as an individual, let's talk about that a little more. Okay, who is the person that you want to be? Okay. You might already partly be that person. Your list of values should guide you if you're not sure. Okay. So, what I want you to do is to write down, paper and pen again, examples of who you think you want to be as a person. And here are some things that I've gotten from my clients. These are real life examples. I want to be the kind of person who is kind and compassionate. Again, that's something I think probably about 85% of everybody says. I want to be able to set healthy limits. I want to be the kind of person who is able to enjoy my life without feeling guilty. Ooh, I bet that resonates with a lot of us. I want to be impactful in my world and help others. I want to be the kind of person who is strong, self-assured, and not afraid. Okay. I want to be the kind of person who is efficient at managing my time. And this one is my favorite. I want to be the kind of person my dog thinks I am. Oh my God, perfect. Okay. Anybody who has a dog knows exactly what I'm talking about. So, who do you want to be? Again, pause the video. I'll wait. And I want you to jot down a couple of ideas based on your value system of who you think you want to be. Go ahead, I'll wait. Fantastic. I hope you had a good time doing that. And again, this is something that's in flux. You might change, you might decide, look back on that in another week and say, you know what, I want to just tweak that a little bit. And that's fine. But trying to come up with a concept is very important, okay? Because that'll give you a basis for how you're going to live your life, a foundation, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to create an avatar, an alter ego, okay? And this avatar is going to have all the traits that you want. And like I said in the last slide, you might already have some of those traits, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be about things you don't have. It can incorporate the things that you already feel that you're good at or that you already think are important, okay? So what is this avatar's name? Give her a name. What does she look like? How does she dress? How does she act? What does she think and believe? Try to flesh it out a little bit. That way, when you're not sure what you want to do, or when things that you've done in the past don't work anymore, you have a tool to use when things get complicated or when you become confused about what path to take. You can ask yourself, what would the person I want to be do right now? What would, give her name? Her name is Sharon. What would Sharon do right now? Okay. I had one client who gave her avatar a male name, and his name was Bill. And he said, this is what you should be doing right now. And she said, okay, I guess Bill was her avatar. That was fantastic. And you know what? It worked really well for her. So this is a really good tool that you can use when you're unsure of what to do. And speaking of being in the right now, okay, let's talk about when you're unsure of what to do. You have to be focused on the moment. And we're going to talk about mindfulness now. And this is really super important too. Mindfulness, all that means is being observant of, curious about, and accepting of the moment that you're in right now. Okay. So how are you feeling mentally, physically? What's going on around you? Okay. You want to be curious. You want to experience it. You want to understand, for lack of a better word, the vibe. And no, I'm not one of those people that sits in the corner that dangles crystals over their head and chants Om every day. But you want to have, you understand how different times of day rooms in your house feel different because the light is different, or in the office when there's nobody there, it feels different. Okay. It's a different vibe. The experience is different. So I want you to pay attention to that. Pay attention to the vibe, to immerse yourself in it. How does it feel? How is the experience? Okay. We remember how things made us feel before we actually remember the details, don't we? So what I want you to do is feel the moment. And I'm going to give you some exercises to do that in just a moment. But think about this. The reason you want to do this is we spend 100% of our time on earth in this moment right now. Think about that, right? Okay. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't plan for the future, okay? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't reminisce about wonderful things that happened in the past, because those are things that we can be mindful of doing in the moment. I'm reminiscing about the past. I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying the planning. Okay, I'm planning my goals. I'm planning my day. I'm planning my week. I'm planning my work. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong, and I hate to say it's wrong, it's non-helpful. Okay, if it's not helpful, if all we do is worry about what happened in the past, or this is what I got to do next, and this is where I'm going to go next, and this is what, if only I have this, I'll be happy. If only I get here, I'll be happy. No. Focus on right now, okay? Immerse yourself in the experience right now, okay? I think you understand what I'm talking about, okay? And what we're going to want to do is to learn some techniques to do that, and here they are. It makes logical sense that if the only moment that's real is right now, that we should not only pay attention to it, but make it the most enjoyable that it possibly can. So in a minute, we're going to talk about how to do that. But first, what I want you to do is to slow down. Okay. We all run. Slow down, pay attention, immerse yourself, focus. Okay. On each task that you're engaged with. And what you can do to maintain that. You can, in terms of your environment, pretend you've never been there before. Okay. A friend that you haven't seen for years and years has come to visit you. What did they see? What did they notice? And look around your environment and notice those things. Pause. Go ahead. Do it. I'll wait. Okay. What did you notice? Okay. Write it down. What did you notice about the room you never noticed before? Okay. What would you see, hear, and feel? Okay. The next trick that you can use, describe the task that you're working on as though you were teaching somebody else to do it. So, okay, what would you be doing right now if you weren't listening to me? Would you be washing the dishes? Would you be vacuuming? Would you be working on a report for work? Would you be helping the kids with their homework? Describe it in your mind to yourself, whatever you're doing. Focus in on it. Pay attention to it, okay? Now we're going to do this. And if I was going to be helping the kids with the homework, I would be doing this. And this is how you do this. Describe it to yourself as you're doing it. It helps you stay focused on this moment right now. Another thing that you can do is be very aware of your physical body. So you could pay attention to your breathing. You can pay attention, like every time you step on your left foot, okay, pay attention to your foot. Pay attention every time you click the mouse if you're working on a computer. Okay, find a focal point on your body that you can use to stay centered in the moment. You get the idea, okay? So forget what's happened in the past. Stop thinking about what the next thing is you have to do and focus on what you're doing right now, okay? And now we're going to talk about how to take that moment and enhance it, because like we just said, the logical step is now to take each one of those moments that we're experiencing and make it positive. And we do that through reframing, okay? So reframing just means to look at something in a different way, from a different angle, or through a different lens, okay? So I call this developing an attitude of gratitude and positivity, because a lot of this has to do with our attitude, okay? So you're laughing at me and you're saying it's not realistic in today's world to be positive and grateful. It sounds like it's unrealistic. It's not, okay? Let's examine the logic of that. What is going to feel better? Okay. So if you're grateful for what you have and you find awe and wonder and amazement in the world around you at any given moment about whatever task that you're doing, about what your environment is like at this moment, if you look at it through a positive lens, what's going to feel better? That or being negative, being cynical, being afraid because the universe sucks and it's out to get you. Okay, what's the logical choice? Of course, it's a logical choice to enhance each moment that you're in. Why would you want to feel negative? What benefit do you get from that? Okay, so let's be logical and realistic in finding the gratitude and the positivity in the moment. Okay, and we're going to talk about, and later on in the webinar, we are going to deal with moments that stink because that's going to arise too. And there is a way to deal with them. Okay. But first, we're going to learn how to be positive and grateful. Okay. So imagine what would happen if Ben Franklin came back to life and sat on your couch and watched TV. What do you think would happen? His head would probably explode. Either that or he'd have a heart attack, or accuse you of being a witch, because to him, that would be a miracle. Okay? They didn't have that kind of thing back then. And we take it for granted every day, don't we? Think about all the tech that we take for granted every day. I'm talking to you from my office in my home on a computer through a webcam that is broadcasting a signal through the air on the Wi-Fi. That's a miracle. That's crazy. Okay, when you stop and look at that, that's crazy shit. Okay, that's a miracle. We take it for granted because we use it every day, don't we? Okay, think about your cell phone, your computer, the internet, TV, cars and trucks. You're driving down the road in a box on wheels. Okay, somebody had to design that. Somebody had to manufacture that. I couldn't do that. Could you? That's a miracle. But we take those things for granted. So what I want you to do is pause the video, and I want you just to think about and jot down a couple of everyday things in your life. And I'm not talking about big honking things like, I'm grateful for the universe. Of course you are. You're grateful for God. You're grateful for your husband or your wife. You're grateful for your kids. Of course you are. Think about the minutia. Okay. What are some things that you take for granted every day? Write down just 2 or 3. Pause the video. I'll wait. All right, what did you come up with? Okay, I'll bet you it was pretty interesting. So the next thing I want you to do, look out the window, okay? Look at trees and grass or flowers or birds or animals. I don't know what season it is while you're watching this, okay? Notice the snow or the rain, okay? Think about the power of a volcano. If you take a moment to truly observe and to notice all of this stuff in nature, mindfulness, right? You'll notice that nature is full of crazy miracles, okay? Think about evolution and what had to happen in the life cycle of whatever it is that you're observing. Nature is full of crazy miracles that we don't even notice, okay? So take a moment to notice those things, okay? And it wouldn't be possible to walk around thinking about these big honking things. Remember, I just said about finding minutia and little things, okay? So let's shrink it down. When you're spending your day being mindful, you can notice and appreciate all these little tiny things that you can be grateful for, okay? Things that are awesome and amazing, little things, okay? So here are some examples. The way water sparkles from a tap when it flows, okay? Making it through a traffic light before it turns red. That's something to be grateful for, isn't it? No line in the supermarket or in the deli, okay? Or the line moved really fast. You got your chores done in record time. Your boss told you what a good job that you did on a report, or your kid got an A on a test. These are just a few of the possibilities of all the little tiny things in life that we can appreciate. Make a game out of finding more examples from the smallest of daily experiences. Every day, I want you to write 1 or 2 down so that when you're having a crappy day, you can go back and look at that list and be reminded that things aren't always going to be like that, okay? Maybe you only learned a valuable lesson, okay, if the day sucked. There is something to be grateful for in every situation. And sometimes it's only that we had the strength to survive it. If you had a really crappy, shitty day, and it happens, okay? And we're going to talk about how to get through that in a minute. But what I want you to do is to pause the video again and write down a few things that you, little tiny minutia, good things that might have happened to you over the last day or two. Go ahead, I'll wait. What did you come up with? Okay, pretty interesting, huh? You don't notice a lot of these things. And there is a really super important reason why you should be doing this. And that is the new car factor. Okay, so here's an explanation of what the new car factor is. The new car factor, when you get a new car, okay, or if it's just new to you, and you drive around, all of a sudden you start noticing all the other ones just like it on the road, right? That you never noticed before. Have you had that experience? Okay. And it's not that those cars just magically appeared, okay? They weren't just dropped down by the Jolly Green Giant out of the sky, okay? They were always there. But the reason that you're noticing them now is that that model is familiar to you. So in the same way, when we start being mindful and being grateful and being positive and looking at things through a different lens, okay, what is the lesson I can learn from this? What is the positive I can take from this? What is something I might be taking for granted in this situation? Okay, and the more we start doing that, the more we're going to start to notice. And what's going to happen is everyday miracles are going to start appearing. And it's not that they weren't there already, it's just that we started noticing them, okay? They are now familiar to you. The path to happiness and getting what you want in life is not making that a goal or saying, I'll be happy when I get this. The secret to getting what you want and being happy is to be appreciative and positive of what you have in your life right now. Okay, be grateful for what you have. Stop thinking about, I want this, I want to be there, I want to be there. What do you have right now? Okay, because the more you notice, the more you're going to find to appreciate. And then what's going to happen is, as this happens, others around you who also feel grateful and positive and who are mindful and who are experiencing happiness, because happiness is the byproduct of being mindful and grateful. Okay, I'm going to say that again. That's super important. Happiness is not a goal. Happiness is the byproduct of being mindful and grateful for what you already have. And people around you who notice that in you will be attracted to you because it's familiar to them, because they're that way too. That's the real law of attraction. That's how you attract things to yourself, is by being comfortable and happy with what you already have. Okay, pretty interesting, isn't it? Okay, so another step that we can take into creating the life skills that we need, okay, is to be self-confident and have some self-esteem. I can give you all of these wonderful skills and tasks and techniques, and they're not going to mean a damn thing if you don't have the self-confidence to put them into play, right? Okay, so the first part of this, we are so busy taking care of other people that we don't take time to care about ourselves. Now, we're going to talk about the cognitive issues of building self-esteem and self-confidence in a minute. But before you can do anything, and I can't emphasize this strongly enough, and listen to me, you moms out there, okay? We are so used to taking care of other people, we do not take the time to take care of ourselves. You cannot pour water from an empty vessel. Okay, have you heard that expression? You got to fill your jug up before you can pour that water out for somebody else. And I know you're going to, oh, no, I don't have time for that. Don't give me that. Okay, you do have time for this. Make the time for it. It is super important, because that is the first step down the path to burnout. Okay, that's not something that you want. So what do you want to do? Think about the things that you love to do, that you get lost in, that make you feel good. Pause the video, and I want you to make a list. Yes, we're going to write down again. Pause the video. I'll wait. All right, what did you come up with? Some people like to paint and draw. Some people like to exercise and jog. Some people, or go to the gym. Some people prefer to do things with their hands like crafts or crocheting or knitting. Some people like to read. Some people like to sit in the tub with candles and just do nothing. And that is totally cool. If all you want to do is sit in your car for 10 minutes with nobody talking to you, that is self-care too, okay? You need to put that into your calendar. Schedule it into your week, okay? Find the time, put it in there, and don't let anybody take that away from you. Very important. Okay. Sometimes traumatic and upsetting experiences chip away at our self-confidence and our self-esteem. And often we blame ourselves for things that we have no control over, okay? And that constant flow of negative messaging is just like the tap being stuck on, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to shut that off. And now we're going to talk about some ways to build up your self-confidence and your self-esteem. So what I want you to do is get out that paper and that notebook again. We're going to do some more writing. And what we're going to talk about is the core beliefs that you have about you, okay? And here are some examples. What do you believe about yourself? What does your self-talk sound like? And I'm not talking about the persona you show to the world, okay, or what your husband thinks you are. What do you really think about yourself? Okay, so here's some examples. You might say to yourself, listen to your self-talk. That's your cue. That's your clue as to what you're thinking. And feeling about yourself and your core beliefs. If you're saying things to yourself like, I'm not very smart, I'm not good at whatever that is, I'm not a good mother or father, I'm not a good person, I have bad judgment, I'm stubborn, I have a bad attitude, I'm afraid to talk to people, I'm not good at talking to other people, I'm shy, other people don't like me, I don't deserve to have whatever that is, okay? If that's what your self-talk sounds like, I want you to write those core beliefs down. Those are your negative core beliefs. So what we're going to do is I want you to pause the video again, and I want you to write those things down. Go ahead, I'll wait. Okay, what did you come up with? All right, we're going to deal with them in a minute. I'm going to show you how to fix it. But first, I want you to talk about negative core beliefs about life, okay? Because you may have some negative core beliefs about yourself, but often we have negative core beliefs about life itself, okay? Or our experience of it, okay? So they might sound like this. And again, listen to your self-talk because that's going to clue you in. The world is out to get me. I have really bad luck. The world is a scary place or an awful place, or life is hard. I don't know how to get along in life. People are mean. The universe is punishing me. Listen to your self-talk. Is that the kind of stuff that you're saying to yourself? So what I want you to do is, again, pause the video, and I will wait, and you can write those things down. Okay, great. How many did you come up with? Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you what to do with that. Okay, so let's just say, we're going to use an example. One item on your list is, I don't like talking to people. I don't get along with people. Okay, I'm afraid of people. Let's say that's on your list. Okay, so tell me a time when you had a conversation with a friend. Tell me a time when you talked to a coworker about work that had to be done. Let's talk about maybe when you had your interview for your job. How about talking to your partner, your spouse? Okay. So you can talk to other people, and you may say to me, well, you know what? I'm talking about strangers. Okay. Did you say thank you to somebody who held the door open for you? Did you say thank you to the cashier when she gave you your change? Okay. So there are real examples in real life. Did you say excuse me when you bumped into somebody else? Okay. Or if somebody bumped into you, did you say it's okay? Because those are experiences that are real, that you had, that show that you can talk to strangers. Okay. Now, if you can't come up with one, if you can't think of one, what you can do is practice. Okay, so you can create situations in which you actually do the thing that you think you're not good at. So the next time you're in a store, say thank you to the cashier, or hold the door open for somebody else and say you're welcome when they say thank you. Okay, you are now talking to strangers. You can do it. Okay, so what I want you to do again is I want you to pause the video, and I want you to take each one of those core negative beliefs about yourself and about life and come up with a time when that wasn't true. An incident that proves that that core belief is not true. Go ahead, I'll wait. Fantastic. I know that was hard, wasn't it? And again, if you can't come up with something and you can't think of one, make it happen. So, for example, if you think that you're not a good person, you can say, well, I said to Bob, I hope you feel better soon. Okay, that's something that a good person does. But if you can't think of a time when you did that, make sure you do it. Hold the door open for a stranger. Okay, just once. Because what happens is, those negative core beliefs are what your subconscious thinks about you. Okay. Our subconscious mind can play tricks on us. Okay. And what happens is we create positive self-talk. That's what an affirmation is positive self-talk. Affirmations, the way that you understand them, do not work. I'm going to say that again. Affirmations do not work unless they are based on something that is real and tangible, because your subconscious cannot argue with a real concrete event. It cannot sabotage you, because what's going to happen is, okay, so let's just say you create a positive affirmation and you say, I'm going to have a mansion. I'm going to live in this mansion. And you make yourself a vision board and the whole 9 yards. I'm going to buy a mansion. I'm going to make enough money to buy a mansion. Okay. But you have a negative core belief that says, I don't really deserve to have that. Okay. What do you think is going to happen? Your subconscious mind is going to sabotage you, and you're never going to see that mansion and you're never going to see that money. Okay. So affirmations don't work. What does work is positive self-talk, and I guess we can call them an affirmation. But what I want you to do is to take each one of those negative core beliefs and create positive self-talk that involves that incident that proves it wrong. Okay. So, for example, you said to your negative core belief is, I'm afraid of talking to strangers. I don't get along well with strangers. Okay. But you remember a time when you talked to a stranger who held the door open for you, or you said thank you to the cashier who gave you your change. Okay. Or you said you're welcome to somebody that you helped. Okay. That was a stranger. Okay. Those are concrete examples that are combating that negative core belief. Okay. Create your affirmation. Say, I can do this because here's a time when I did it. And every time you feel that welling up inside of you, like, oh, I can't talk to them. Oh, yes, I can, because I did it before. Okay. That's how you overcome those negative core beliefs. That's how you build your self-esteem, is positive self-talk that is based on real events. Okay. And that's how you keep your subconscious from sabotaging you, so that you don't repeat the same stupid mistakes over and over and over again. Does that make sense? Okay. So what I want you to do is to pause the video again and go back to that list and create yourself some positive self-talk to go along with those negative core beliefs. Go ahead. I'll wait. How did you make out? It's not easy, is it? I know. And you can always go back to that later and work on it some more. These are exercises that sometimes that you have to take a little time to work through. But I'm telling you, this is a really super important skill, and it is going to make a huge difference in your life. I promise you. This is one of those life skills that our parents never taught us, isn't it? Okay. Let's see. What's the next thing we're going to, oh, this is the fun part. what do we do when the moment sucks? Okay. Um, and being mindful, being positive, and being grateful doesn't mean that life is going to be happy, happy, joy, joy, Ren and Stimpy in the cat box all the time. It just doesn't work that way, right? Now, one of the things that you can practice is what psychologists call radical acceptance. Okay, so you can say, well, you know what? This is what it's like to experience, okay? And we're going to get into that in a minute. We can create all the positive self-talk in the world, but shit happens. And sometimes it's just going to be a situation where we are uber frustrated. It could be the phone ringing at the same time the baby's crying and the dog is puking on the rug and where are my damn keys, and it's all happening and the shit hits the fan. Okay, and it's a negative moment, and yeah, it's hard to find positivity and gratitude in that, even if you know that there is a lesson to be learned at the end. That still doesn't help you find your damn keys, does it? Okay, so what we're going to talk about is the power questions. So when you need to be able to navigate through the bullshit of stressful situations without losing it, you're going to pull these out, and this is going to calm you down instantly. Okay, usually I only get through the first two. Okay, but if you memorize these questions, ask yourself these questions, you will be able to get through the stupid crap that happens every single day. Okay, so let's get started. The first power question is, how important is this really? Okay, or you can ask yourself too, how important is this right now? Because sometimes things are important, like finding your damn keys, yes, is important. Okay, you can't go to work without them. How important is it right now? Well, yes, you need to find those keys right now. How important is this going to be in 5 weeks? You're going to find your keys. You're going to get to work. How important is this going to be in 5 hours? You're probably going to forget about it, or at least it's going to be in the past, right? Is this going to affect the weather on Jupiter? The answer is always going to be no. We assign way more importance to crappy things that happen to us during the day than really they deserve. So how important is this? How important is it right now? How important is it going to be in 5 weeks? How important is it in 5 years? Is it going to affect the way you live your life? Probably not. Okay, let it go. Second power question. What is something positive and constructive I can do about this? So, okay, now you can't find your damn keys. So instead of fuming and being frustrated, okay, well, I gotta find my fucking keys. Excuse me. Yeah, you do. Okay. What do you do about it? All right, let's be systematic. Okay, I am now going to go back and look through all the places where they would be, and then I'm going to look in all the places where I was. Okay, right? So, what is something positive and constructive you can do about it? Beware, because say somebody cuts you off in traffic, something positive and constructive is not pulling up next to them and giving them a one-fingered salute. Okay, that is not positive and constructive. Okay, remember, we're reframing. Okay, so what solutions? Be solution oriented. The third power question: what emotions am I feeling? Okay, now this is kind of important because, and I know it doesn't seem like it when you're going through something at the time. Okay, but by identifying and labeling those emotions, you shrink them down from this to this. Okay, so where are my damn keys? Okay, what emotion am I feeling? Frustration, panic, irritation. Okay, identify, label, shrink them down. Are those emotions driving you? Okay, because you're not going to find your keys if frustration, irritation, and panic are driving you. So shrink them down, identify, label, and strap them in the back seat just like you would with a crying child. When we get home, we will deal with this, but right now I have to drive. Right now I have to find my keys. Okay, so there you go. Identify, label, strap them in the back seat. Next power question. What would the person I want to be do? We're pulling out the avatar. Okay, so what would Sharon or Bill or Tasha or whatever your avatar's name is, what would they do in this situation? Would they freak out like this, or would they be calm? And would they know where to look for their keys? Okay. How do you want to feel at the end of the day? Do you want to feel guilty at the end of the day that you didn't pay attention and put those emotions in the back seat so you could drive? Do you want to feel guilty that you freaked out over something that really wasn't that important? Or do you want to feel proud of how you handled the situation and got everything under control? How do you want to feel at the end of the day, right? What's the logical way? How do you want to feel? Okay. And here's the bonus question. What is something positive I can take from this? And here's where you bring in your reframing, your gratitude, your positivity. What can I learn from this? Well, I know now I'll never put my keys there again. Now I know that when I come home, I'm going to create a place to put my keys so this doesn't happen again. What solutions can you come up with? Okay, what lessons can you learn? What is something positive that came out of this negative situation? You can learn lessons. You can change systems and procedures. You can say to yourself, okay, well, I never found my keys, but I was tough enough to survive and figure out a solution on how to get to work, even though I did have to take the bus. Not bad, huh? There's always something positive, even if it's only that you were strong enough to survive it, okay? Let me ask you a few questions now that we've gotten to the end of our webinar. How does your life feel right now? Okay. Are you nervous? Are you irritated? Are you angry? Are you frustrated? Are all those emotions that you felt when we were talking about losing your keys, do they well up in you on a daily basis? Do you snap at your partner and your kids? And do you feel like that's something that you can't help? Okay. Do you ever ask yourself, is this all there is to life? Do you ever say to yourself, I'm not sure I can take much more of this. There must be a better way. Do you feel like your life is running you? Do you feel like the guy that's in the cones? Do you feel like the hamster that's stuck in the toilet paper roll? Okay. Do you feel the strain of trying to function now with the new normal and life having changed so much in the last year? Is there always drama with your family and your coworkers and other people? Okay. We've been talking about the quiet zone method. Okay. These are the life skills that your parents never taught you. And you might have known about them, but you never applied them to your life. Okay. And they won't help you just to feel better about your life and overcome stress and frustration and deal with the drama and the bullshit that happens every day. But they also help you set and reach new goals for your life. And yes, even though we are in the aftermath or soon to be aftermath of a pandemic that literally changed the world, you can still set and achieve goals for yourself. Just because it's all falling down around our ears does not mean that you cannot feel good about your life right now, starting right now. Okay. So and we've talked about this during this webinar, how do you want to feel? Okay. What do you want your life to look like? What are the goals that you have? Even though we're being mindful and grateful for what we already have, it's a really wonderful thing to set some goals to create the life that we think we might want for ourselves. And in the very least, we might discover options that we didn't even know were out there while we're still being grateful for what we already have. Okay, they're not mutually exclusive. So what would you say if I told you that I can help you get there? Okay. Here's what you get. Okay. You will get video lessons, worksheets, individual coaching lessons, and a customized curriculum. So what we're going to do is before we start anything, I sit down with you and give you a free session. It's called an Essential Life Skills Assessment. Okay, and what we do is we see what the top 3 things are that are holding you back in life, that are making you stressed out, frustrated, angry, irritated, insert adjective here. And I will also give you the number 1 strategy that you can employ to move forward. Okay, so we're going to do an assessment. We are going to custom create a curriculum just for you. And then what we're going to do is you can try on coaching. You can have 3 sessions at a reduced rate, and you will get credit for what you spend if you decide to continue. Okay. You can choose from either a 3-month boot camp style program or a 6-month transformational program, whatever you decide, and you will get credit for your 3 try-on sessions that came in at a reduced rate. And we're going to take the skills that you learned today, and we are going to expand on them and amplify them, learn even more new skills like how to resolve conflict and drama with other people, and how to organize your life so that you're not running around looking for your keys all the time, okay? We are going to make these skills fit into your own unique world. So I still do have a few openings left for each program. Usually every month I can take on 2 or 3 clients. So get a pen and write this down, and I want you to get in touch with me ASAP so that you don't lose your space. The first is to email me, Susan, thequietzone@gmail.com. If you prefer to talk, 631-742-6079, or you can text. Or you can go to my scheduler and you can choose the Essential Life Skills Assessment as a free service and put it in the schedule for when you want. There's the website there. I'm going to put a link down in the underneath here so that you can hopefully click on that if I can do it. Or if you want to learn more about what I do, go to thequietzonecoaching.com, and then you can contact me through there if you want to also. And I hope you have enjoyed this webinar and that you've gotten some useful information from it. And I really look forward to meeting with you at your life skills assessment. Please get your appointment for that ASAP before they're all gone. And I look forward to talking with you then. Namaste. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.